In this video, I want to show you how to crochet this cute to-go coffee cup. And it's a cute little keychain, fairly easy to make, and let's jump right into it. For this project, I'll need a basting needle, a stitch marker, safety eyes, but you could also embroider some eyes if you don't have those, a size 2 crochet hook, my scissors, 3 different colors of yarn for size 2.5 to 3.5 hook. And to make it sturdy, I also use a piece of cardboard and cheap scissors. We will start with the lid of the cup. And at the beginning, we do continuous rounds, meaning we're not going to close each round, we just keep on crocheting. And later on, we will jump back to closing each round with a slip stitch and a chain, but I will tell you later more. Now we start with a magic ring and we just do increases and continuous rounds to get the top of the lid. Let's do a magic ring. Put your yarn around your thumb like this. Put your hook in here, get the yarn, and when you get it twisted, yarn over, put it through, and you have your magic ring. And into this magic ring, we will do 6 single crochets. And if you look closely, I do yarn under single crochets, meaning the yarn is under my hook. Because I learned that when you do amigurumi, this gives you a sturdier single crochet. So for this type of project, it's the perfect stitch. So we have 5 and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Since I'm doing continuous rounds, it's easier to mark your stitches. I mark my last stitch, so I always know where I'm at. But if you don't have a stitch marker, you can just put a piece of yarn in between, or just make sure you count perfectly so you don't skip a stitch. Okay. And now we go into the first single crochet I made, which is this one. And the beginning is a little tricky since I'm using such a tiny crochet hook. If you remember, the yarn is for 2.5 to 3.5 hooks. But using the smaller crochet hook makes it cleaner and tidier and neat. So into the first stitch, I will do 2 single crochets. And we will continue on for the whole round, do 2 single crochets in each stitch to get from 6 to 12 stitches. So we have the second increase. Third one. 1 and 2. Number 4. 1 and 2. Number 5. 1 and 2. And we get to our last stitch, number 6. Remove the stitch marker. 1 and 2. Now we have 12 stitches. Put back in the stitch marker. And now we go from 12 stitches to 18, doing 1 single crochet and 1 increase, 1 single crochet and 1 increase. Let's start with the single crochet, 1, and then we do the increase to the next stitch, 1 and 2, Then we have another single crochet, another increase, and in the very last stitch from the previous round we do our last increase of this round. 1 and 2. Put the stitch marker back in, and now we are at 18 stitches. So we will do another round to get to 24 stitches. We go 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, all the way to the end of the round. So first single crochet, second single crochet, and then we get to the increase. 1, yarn splitting easily today. 1 and 2. That was my increase, and into the very last stitch of our previous round we do our last increase. So 1 and 2. This now is the top of our lid, and we will now switch back to closed rounds, meaning I will close this round with a slip stitch into the next stitch, and now I will start my next round with a chain, because now every round will be closed with a slip stitch and a chain. And the next thing we are going to do is another 24 stitches, one round without increase or decrease, but in the back loop only, because now we need to get this corner right here from the lid down, the 90-degree corner. We can achieve this by going only through the back loop. If you look closely, you can see the V shape right here. Let me get this basting needle. This V shape where you would go in with your crochet hook like this. But in this case, we only go through the back loop. And we will do this for each stitch. So here back loop, here back loop, here back loop. Not through the whole one, just through the back loop. And we go around the whole 24 stitches. So back loop, 1, 2, 3, and now we close the round with a slip stitch and a chain through the first single crochet we made. So a slip stitch and a chain. And this now is our 90-degree corner. We will put some cardboard in here later on. That's why I needed the scrap of cardboard. You can skip this, but for me it just makes it look neater, sturdier, and nicer. Now we need to go back out again. So we have the lid, we made a 90-degree corner here, and we will do a 90-degree corner out. So to do this, we have to go through the front loops only, because we're here now, and we need to put the stitch on top of here, so it goes out this way. And we will do an increase, because when we do the front loops only, we will make it bigger. And if we only do 24 stitches, we would make it more narrow. So now we need to not only go through the front loops, but go from 24 stitches to 30. And that means we will do single crochet, single crochet, single crochet, and an increase. So 3 single crochets and 1 increase all the way around. So let's start. I will put my first single crochet into the stitch I finished the round with. So it's here, and don't forget, only go through the front loop. So it's 1, 2, only through the front loop, not both. 2, front loop, 3, and our increase. also only through the front loop. Increase 1 and 2. Whoops, lost my yarn again. 1 and 2, and we continue. 1 and 2 stitches in, or single crochets in the same stitch, and we close the round through the front loop with a slip stitch and a chain. And you can see now we have this 90-degree corner, now we have this 90-degree corner going out. Now we need it to go down straight, so we again have to go through the back loops to create another corner. So it was back loops, front loops, now it's back loops again. And we stay in this size, so it will be 30 single crochets around, back loop only. So I will start in the stitch I just finished a round in, but I have to go to the back loop. So I will do 1 single crochet and just keep going around, back loops only. So this is number 30, back loop only, and then we close the round. Slip stitch and a chain. All right, and now we have the top of the lid. And the next thing is going to be doing a corner this way. And before we do that, I will put some cardboard in. Okay, let's see. All right, now it fits. It fits perfect in the first circle. And for the second one, I will do another piece. All right, that looks good. So we have a small piece and a bigger piece. So the small piece is down here, the bigger piece is right here. And now we will do a 90-degree corner in this direction, meaning we only go through the back loops. And since we're going through the back loops, it's going to be smaller than the 30 stitches, meaning we do a decrease to 24. And to do so, we will have to do 3 single crochets and a decrease in the next 2 stitches. 3 single crochets and a decrease to get from 30 to 24. So I have the stitch I closed the round in. I will go through the back loop, do my single crochet, 1, back loop only, 2, and number 3. It's a little tricky with the cardboard, but we have to put it in at this point because now we crochet it in. Now we get to our first decrease. We will go through the back loop, get the yarn, go through the next back loop, get the yarn, and go through all 3 loops on the hook. And our last decrease of this round. Get the yarn, and oops, split the yarn again. And yarn over through all 3 loops. So now we close the round, going through both loops, do a slip stitch and a chain. And our lid is done. So we're around all the corners now, and you can see it got smaller and the cardboard is secured in there, and we can start doing the cup itself. So we now have 24 stitches right here. We went from 30 to 24, and we will do 3 rounds or 3 rows, whatever you want to call them, of 24 stitches, and then we will start to decrease so the cup gets this slight narrow shape at the bottom. But first we will do 3 rounds of 24 stitches, but the first row, as you can see, because it connects to the lid, is another 90-degree corner, meaning we have to go through the front loops only to attach the cup more or less on the lid. So I go through the first stitch I closed the round with and do front loops only. The first one right here, without any increase or decrease, just go around. 2 front loops only, only through the front loop. 3 and 24, last front loop, single crochet. We closed the round. This is the first single crochet we did of this round. If it's easier for you, you can also mark it with a stitch marker. I will do this in the next 2 rounds. So this was our first 24 stitch round, single crochets, going through the front loop. And the next 2 24 single crochet rounds is going to be through both loops. Just regular single crochets going through both loops. So I will use the stitch marker here. This is my first stitch. Just go through both loops all the way around until you hit 24. Close the round with a slip stitch and chain and do another one. So I finished my last round of 24 single crochets. I closed the round with a slip stitch and a chain. And now we do our first decrease. We go from 24 stitches to 22. So it's just a slight decrease. And we will put the face somewhere here on the opposite side of where we closed the rounds. And I will do my decreases to the left and to the right. So I have 24 stitches, 12 on each side, and I will close, or I will crochet together stitch 6 and 7. So we will do single crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get to number 6, get the yarn, number 7, get the yarn and close it. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and I will also put together 18 and 19, which is on the opposite side. 18 and 19 through all the loops. 20, 21, 2, 3, and 24. Of course, it's 22 stitches now, but I counted the stitches from the previous round. I hope I did not confuse you with that. I will close the round with a slip stitch and a chain, and now we're down to 22 stitches. So we have our decreases here and here. We will do another 22 stitches. So this row now is without decrease. Just go around and do 22 stitches. 22 single crochets. We will meet again at the end of the round. So I'm at the end of my 22 single crochets. Do a slip stitch and a chain. And the next round is going to be another decrease from 22 to 20, another slow decrease. And we'll do it to the left and to the right again. And since we have 22 stitches, half of it is 11, I will do number 5 and number 6. I will crochet together. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we have number 5 and number 6. We will crochet together. 6, and number 16 and 17. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, number 16 and 17. Let's crochet them together. 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. Close with a slip stitch and a chain, and we reduced our round to 20 stitches. Now we will do the face before we get too far down and it will be a nightmare. This is the back, so try to find the front. I forgot to mention at the beginning that you also need a little bit of black yarn to do the mouth. And what I like to do is, because this looks way too thick, I split up the yarn and I take like 2 strands maybe. Yeah, that's good. And I will weave in the yarn right away so I can cut it later. Okay. Put it through here. This is the middle and the back. And as I said, I want the flat part or the lower part of the mouth to be here. So I will come out here. So we're out here. We cross 1 stitch. We go around another stitch. Then I go back through here. And then I come up here across another stitch. And then I can go back down, go through. And just like that, my little mouth is done. And now we can decide where to put our eyes. I will go with here, which is 1 stitch away from my mouth and up. And here, 1 stitch away and up. Slip the safety eye through and close it in the back. All right, 1 eye attached. Get the safety eye, push it through, close it in the back. And our face is done. Look at this cute coffee cup. Let's continue. If you remember, we had 20 stitches here because we closed from 22 to 20, and we need another row of 20, so no decrease this time. Just go around and do 20 single crochets. We meet back when we're done with that round. So I'm done with the 20 single crochets, close the round with a slip stitch and a chain. And now we get to our last decrease to get from 20 to 18, meaning we have to do another 2 decrease, 20 stitches, half of it is 10. So I will close stitch 5 and 6 or crochet together. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we have 5 and 6. Get the yarn, go through all 3 loops. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and we also do a decrease with 15 and 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. And of course, since we did 2 decreases, we're actually at 18 stitches now. Let's close the round with a slip stitch and a chain. And you can see that the cup is getting narrow to the bottom. We will do 2 more rows of 18 stitches or 18 single crochets, and we're done with the cup. Then we can start closing the cup. So just going through each stitch, doing 18 single crochets for 2 rows. And we meet again when we're done with that. Number 18. Close the round with a slip stitch and a chain. And we have our cup. Let's close the cup. But before we do that, we have to put some fiber fill in. Yeah, like that. So it's almost full, but I can still crochet to close it. Now we get to close our cup, and we have 18 stitches here. And to get from 18 down to 12, we will do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, 1 single crochet, 1 decrease. But to get the bottom of the cup, we will do this in the back loops only, because then we force that 90-degree corner again. Going through the back loop only, starting with that stitch I closed the round with, I do 1 single crochet, and then I do 1 decrease, going through the back loops only. Get the yarn, and go through all 3. The last 2 loops for the decrease. Oh, get the yarn first, get the yarn, and then pull through all 3. Then I will close the round in the very first single crochet I made with a slip stitch and a chain. And you can see this has a 90-degree corner now. The only thing we need to do now is close these 12 stitches, and to go from 12 down to 6 stitches, which we will need to close it, we do decreases in every stitch. So 1, 2 together, a decrease, another decrease, 6 times all around. And this time we go through both loops. We don't have to do a front loop or back loop, only we go through both loops. So I used the first stitch I closed the round with. So I do I get the yarn, and I do my first decrease. 1, get the yarn, 2, and then we have the last 2 right here, 1 and 2. That was our last decrease. We find the first stitch, do a slip stitch, and I will not do a chain, I will only do a slip stitch. I will fasten off, and I will close. We have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches here. What I like to do is go through the front loop of the first stitch, front loop of the third stitch. This is the third. And front loop of the 5th stitch, so I always skip one, pull it tight. Now it looks pointy, but then you just go through, just here, pull it back down so it gets flat again, and then you can weave in the yarn tail. And our coffee cup to go is done. The only thing left to do now is that cardboard sleeve, which is really easy to do, and this green button. I mean, you can leave out this green button if you want, but it reminded me of, you know, the big chain. And yeah, let's do that sleeve. For this, we will need a brown color. We will do a chain of 24. If you changed any of my stitches, you have to figure out what the perfect size is to go around. If you did it the same way I did, you should be fine with 24. So I will do a chain of 24. 1, 2. We will meet back when I'm done. So I am done with my chain of 24. And if we measure, yeah, that will work. Now we need to close the chain. And to do that, make sure that it's not twisted. So this is the chain. I will take the back, go around, and do a slip stitch in the back of the chain, because I will work in the back of the chain. So make sure it's not twisted. So this is the slip stitch. Now you can see I have the whole chain visible. There's no twist, nothing. And I will do a chain. And now we will go all the way around the chain doing single crochets, but going through the back loop as I did the slip stitch. I will do the first one and then I will show you. On the back of the chain, you see these tiny, tiny loops. I mean, they're not so tiny. I'm over exaggerating probably. This one and this one. These are the loops we want to work with, because then we will keep the pretty chain on the other side. So only go through these loops. I did the first single crochet, I go through this loop, second, third, four, and I will be back when I get to the end of the round. So now I get to the last loop for my 24th single crochet, and now I have this nice chain at the bottom, which will look super neat, and we will close the round with a slip stitch and a chain. All right, that's the first row done. And we need 4 in total, 24 single crochets in closed rounds. So this is round number 1, and we will do 3 more and I will be back. So I did my 4 rows. I will close my round with a slip stitch, no chain, fast enough, and I will leave a long yarn tail because I will use this to connect the piece to the cup. I will just go with this, better safe than sorry. Fast enough. This piece we will just, you can weave it in or you can hide it, and this goes on our coffee cup. Oh, it fits perfect. Look at this. And if you want, I will do it. If you want, you can add the green round or whatever color you want round emblem right here. So we get the green yarn, we put it around our thumb like this, go through here, get the yarn twisted, get the yarn again, and go through the loop. All right, this is our magic ring. And I will do 6 single crochets through this magic ring. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. I will pull on this end, close the magic ring, go through the first stitch. I may have made it too tight, but I will manage. Go through the first stitch and do a slip stitch, just like that. And then we have our round emblem. We'll leave along a yarn tail, fasten off, and this piece will go. This is the back. This piece will go right here. So I will just go through a couple of stitches, and then we weave in the yarn, cut it. I will also weave in this short end, and then I will take the long end, put it back on my coffee cup, push it up a little, but not to cover the mouth. And then we will secure it with a few stitches. I will just go through here. Make sure I also pick up some of the mug. Come out here again. Go right back in. And we have our paper sleeve or cardboard sleeve attached. I will weave in this yarn now, cut it, and we are done. Our cute little to-go mug or cup is done. The face is a little different, you can see. The eyes are more closer together. This is personal preference, whatever you want. You can do it. And I have a pastel pencil, which you could use to make your amigurumi even cuter by painting this blush spot. These pencils are really handy. You can paint on your crochet work. And yeah, that's it. I will attach a keychain, and then my second piece is done. I hope you enjoyed my tutorial, and thanks for watching.